A Perfect Mistake, Chapter 18, Standoff. There's a buzz in Miss Little's room as we get our writer's notebooks. I'm excited to have her check mine, too. I mean, it would be better if Joey wasn't giving me a sad face emoji every time I glance in his direction. I keep waiting for him to say something about what happened in the arcade, but so far he hasn't. I don't know what Jared and Luca are hiding, but I'm not going to get anything out of Joey. I'm going to keep trying, though. We may not be the kind of people who get into fights, but that doesn't mean I can't fight back. I lean over to Sam. We should talk to the dog lady next. Yeah, she says. I can say it's for the school paper. She won't go for that. She lets her dogs chase the reporters off her lawn. Maybe she's just shy? I shake my head. She barely gave any interviews. She hates people in general. Sam frowns. I'm good at this, Max. Trust me, I can get her to talk. Okay. Are you still grounded? According to my dad, I'm grounded for the rest of my life, she says. But sometimes you have to take risks in the service of truth. I don't care if he doesn't like you. The words hit with a sting. He doesn't like me? He thinks you're like a bad influence. He asked me if you shave yet. My entire face goes hot. I don't. Sam's mouth falls open. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. He was just mad that I skipped my work shift, but it was worth it. She smiles, but I can't shake the gross feeling in my stomach. Mr. Bovella thinks I'm a bad guy. He thinks I'm like Jared, big and trouble. The kind of kid who hurts other kids, all because I'm so much bigger than Sam. But what about Luca? He just stood there and let Jared come after me at the arcade. How am I the bad influence here? I sink into my chair, my knees bouncing as Miss Little reads today's picture book. They all saw a cat. In it, many different animals see the same cat, but the images are all totally different. What they see depends on their perspective, their eyeballs, their height. Like the way Mr. Bovella sees me. I glance at Joey while Miss Little reads. He's biting his nails. They look raw. A jolt of guilt stabs my heart, but there's nothing I could say right now to fix things between us. Even if I apologize for getting them in trouble, Joey won't tell me what happened that night. He's as scared of Jared as I am, just like how the cat looks huge and terrifying to the ants. As long as Joey sees his brother that way, we're stuck, and I don't see how that will change. It's weird sneaking past my own house, but if Mom knew I was going to accuse one of my neighbors of lying about Will's accident, she'd lose it. Apparently, that idea doesn't bother Sam at all because she's whistling as we make our way up the opposite side of the street. Will you keep it down? She tips her head. Where's your sense of adventure? It got grounded. Sam laughs, and I have this weird moment where I feel like I'm back in time, when it was me and Joey and Will walking along this sidewalk, laughing and skipping cracks and competing to see who could hold their breath the longest or eat the most acorns. Spoiler, do not eat acorns unless you want to spend an entire afternoon on the toilet. Only now, it's me and Sam, which is both nice and awful at the same time because I miss my friends. I miss Will and Joey. We reach the end of the street and cross over to the dog lady's house. The chain link fence is latched but not locked. There's a walkway leading to the front porch, which has a small wooden dog gate on it, but there are no dogs in sight. Ohio. I unlatch the gate as quietly as possible. Run, I whisper to Sam, and we take off. We make it through the gate onto the porch a split second before two giant mutts come running up the steps behind us, jumping like they want to eat us for dinner. I'm not even scared of dogs and my heart is pounding. I feel like I'm floating, but in a bad way. Get out your notebook or something, Sam says, and try to look less tall. I get my writer's notebook and dig in my bag for a pen, but I can't find one. Sam hands me a pencil. My face burns. Thanks. There's so much to remember in life, she says. It's unreasonable. Before I can even answer, she rings the dog lady's doorbell. What's her name again? Sam says. My brain goes utterly blank. Mrs. B something. Oh my God, I can't remember. Sam lifts the lid to the dog lady's mailbox and looks at a piece of mail. Barrington, got it. And she puts the mail back. The door cracks open and I do my best to hunch down. Can I help you? The dog lady says, her face barely visible behind the door. Hello and good afternoon, Mrs. Barrington, Sam says. We're students from the local middle school and we could really use your help with a project. We need to interview a local, no interviews. The door starts to close. Please, Sam implores. We'll fail our class if we don't get this interview. The door stops moving. It will only take 5 minutes, I promise, Sam says. She looks up at me. We'd really appreciate it, I manage, though my voice cracks. After a long pause, the door swings open enough to reveal the dog lady. She's a lot shorter than me and is holding a small black dachshund to her chest like a shield. You have 5 minutes. Sam smiles. Thank you so much, Miss Barrington. First, I'd like to say how much I admire you. What you did for Will Schwartz was incredible. You saved his life. The dog lady barely nods. That night that Will got hurt, one of your dogs was sick? That's right. Which one? The dog lady blinks. Sorry, I'm just such a dog lover, Sam says. We have 2 at home. Did you know that dogs have 15,000 hairs per square inch of skin? I blurt out. The dog lady frowns. Sam gives me a look. Yes, dogs are amazing creatures, she continues. Anyway, which one of your fur babies was the culprit that night? Finn, the dog lady says. My black lab. He must have gotten into something during the day. What class did you say this interview is for again? Sam smiles. It's for English language arts. We're interviewing people we admire, and we both really admire what you did that night. What's it like to be a hero? I expect the dog lady to blush, but instead her lips flatten. I never asked to be a hero. Well, we are who we are, right? So you left at what time for the vet? Around 1 a.m. And you went to the emergency vet. In Garfield. She readjusts the dog in her arms. Are we done here? Almost. That all makes sense except for one little problem. Max here saw your lights come on later that night. If you were at the emergency vet, who turned them on? Miss Barrington's lips part in shock. Her small dark eyes fix on me, making me want to crawl under the porch and hide. You're one of those boys. What boys? Sam says, but the dog lady is already shaking her head. How dare you scare my babies like that in the middle of the night? The dachshund in her arm growls. He doesn't seem scared at all. I didn't do anything to your dogs. You call what you did nothing, she scoffs. Children these days are entirely devoid of morals. You should be ashamed of yourself. I have nothing more to say to you. She steps back and slams the door in our faces. That went well, Sam says, and I groan. No, I mean it. We got a few things out of her. She says she left at 1 a.m., but you guys went out around 2 a.m., right? I don't know. I don't have my phone with me. Or I didn't have my phone with me. No worries, Sam says. The police report says 2 a.m., and if you guys were gone for, say, an hour, that means you saw her lights come on around 3 a.m. She claims she was at the vet until early morning when she found Will. That does not add up any way you slice it. Yeah, I know. She's lying. Sam nods thoughtfully. The question is, why? Maybe she doesn't want anyone to know she was home? Because I search my mind but come up empty. It's okay, Sam says. We just need to keep digging. Sam heads back to school to get a ride home from Luca, who thinks she stayed late to work in the library, and I walk into our kitchen to find Mom sitting at the kitchen table with red cheeks and tissues in her hands. Dad next to her with Cal and Shelley. It's so quiet, I assume I'm in trouble again. Mom, I can explain. It's Will, she says, her voice breaking into a sob. Shelley starts crying and Cal puts an arm around her. My heart is in my throat. What happened? Dad looked at me. They lifted Will's sedation at the hospital today. He didn't wake up, Mom says. I'm so sorry, honey. Will didn't wake up.